Hey everybody, Astro Commander here. Today I am bringing you guys a junk deck profile from Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. It was one of my favorite animes growing up as a kid. I liked all the different Yu-Gi-Ohs, but 5Ds just had a weird spot in my heart. I like the dual runners and all that. My buddy and I kind of built this deck together when the new support came out in the Legendary 5Ds decks. So it's not been tested. Life has been a little busy lately, so this is just a profile to go off of. You feel free to modify it however you want, but without further ado, I run 3 copies of Junk Converter. You can discard this card and add 1 tuner and add 1 synchro monster from your deck to your hand. If this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can target 1 tuner in your graveyard, special summon it in defense position, but it cannot activate its effects this turn. You can only use each effect of Junk Converter once per turn. So this is one of your main starters. I then play 3 copies of Junk Synchron. When this card is normal summoned, you can target 1 level 2 or lower monster in your graveyard, special summon that target in defense position, but negate its effects. So it's a good way to get a monster back to the field and allow you to synchro off. Obviously you can't use its effect when you bring it back, but you can still get that monster back as an extra body for you to synchro with. And then play 1 copy of Junk Servant. If you control face-up junk monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. So just extra body on the board to synchro with, because most of the cards you run have some form of junk in them, or you'll most likely always have a junk card on the field. Next is a tech my buddy gave me. We're playing 1 copy of Junk Dragonlet. If you control a synchro monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Junk Dragonlet once per turn this way. When a synchro monster you control declares an attack, you can banish this card from your graveyard. That monster you control gains 800 attack until the end of this turn. You can only use this effect of Junk Dragonlet once per turn. So we threw it in there as a little bit of an extra. Kind of a solid card. Next we move on to the Synchron cards. We play 2 copies of Stardust Synchron. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you contribute 1 monster, special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except synchro monsters, which is fine because the entire extra deck is synchro monsters, I believe. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add 1 spell/trap from your deck to your hand that mentions Stardust Dragon. You can only use each effect of Stardust Synchron once per turn. We then play 2 copies of the new Scrap Synchron. For a synchro summon, you can substitute this card for any 1 Synchron tuner. You only use each of the following effects of Scrap Synchron once per turn. If you synchro summon a monster that mentions a Synchron tuner as material, this card in your hand can also be used as material. If a monster you control that mentions Junk Warrior or a synchro monster with Warrior in its original name would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card from the field or graveyard instead. So it's protection for your monsters like Junk Warrior, Scrap Warrior, any of those. It's also a good substitute for any of the Synchron cards you need to make said cards. Next, we kind of are down into the one-ofs of our Synchrons, which is quite a few of them. We play 1 copy of Jet Synchron. This is kind of an obvious given. If this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can add 1 junk monster from your deck to your hand. If this card is in your graveyard, you can send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard, special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use 1 Jet Synchron effect per turn and only once that turn. So this is a hard once per turn. But he is a bounce effect from the graveyard back to the field, which gives you a tuner that's a level 1, which makes it a little easier to link or synchro climb. And then personally play one copy of Nitro Synchron. This is one of those cards I debated taking out, but I like running Nitro Warrior just from the nostalgia effect, so I leave him in. If this card is sent to the graveyard for the Synchro summon of a Nitro Synchro monster, draw one card. So it's, like I said, it's mainly just in there for Nitro Warrior. If you want to take it out, you can, or replace it with a different card, because you can use your Scrap Synchron to substitute for Nitro Synchron, since it is a Synchron monster, to still get your Nitro Warrior out. And then play one copy of Satellite Synchron. If a monster is special summoned from your graveyard, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. If you have a Synchro monster with Warrior, Synchron, or Stardust in its original name on the field or graveyard, you can make this card's level become 4 until the end of this turn. You can only use each effect of Satellite Synchron once per turn. So just another way to level modulate and get yourself where you need to go when you're trying to Synchro climb into something different. We then play one copy of Synchron Carrier. During your main phase, you can normal summon one Synchron monster in addition to your normal summon or set. You can only gain this effect once per turn. If other Synchron monsters is sent to your graveyard as material for the Synchro summon of a Warrior or Machine Synchro monster, while you control this card, you can special summon one Synchron token. You can only use this effect of Synchron Carrier once per turn. So it gives you another token that you can use. It doesn't have any other restrictions. You can't use this token for Synchro summoning or XZ summoning or any of that. So it just gives you another body on the board to continue your plays. This is just a good extender to continue your build. We then play one copy of Wheel Synchron. If this card you control is used as Synchro material, you can treat it as a non-tuner. You can only use each of the following effects of Wheel Synchron once per turn. During your main phase, you can immediately, after this effect resolves, normal summon one level 4 or lower monster. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn, except for Synchro monsters. Like I said, this deck, I'm 99% sure, has all Synchro monsters, so not a restriction at all for you. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one Synchro monster you control, reduce its level by up to 4. So another level modulation card. You can take monsters down and equal out to the amount of stars you need for a Synchro summon. And then we play the one copy of Assault Synchron. During your main phase, you can special summon this card from your hand, then take 700 damage. Also, while it is face up on the field in a monster zone, you cannot special summon from the extra deck except for Synchro monsters. If a face up defense Synchro, Dragon Synchro monster you control is tributed or banished except during the damage step, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one of those monsters, special summon it. You can only use each effect of Assault Synchron once per turn. And then play one copy of Revolution Synchron. If you Synchro summon a Power Tool monster or a level 7 or 8 Dragon monster, this card in your hand can also be used as material. So this is more meant for your copy of Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon or your copy of Stardust Dragon I run. Just because I don't run any of the Power Tool stuff in here, but it is able to be used for those two. You can only use this effect of Revolution Synchron once per turn. If you control a level 7 or higher Synchro monster while this card is in your graveyard, you can send the top card of your deck to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon this card. Also, its level becomes 1. So it's another bounce back from the graveyard to continue your plays and extend it. And then you can only use this effect of Revolution Synchron once per duel. And then these are more just fun themed cards to use that were more built around Yusei, but we have one Stardust Trail. If a monster you control is tributed, except for the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand or graveyard, but banish it when it leaves the field. If a warrior, synchron, or stardust synchro monster is synchro summoned using this card as material, you can special summon one Stardust token. You can only use each effect of Stardust Trail once per turn. So once again, get you more tokens to extend your plays. We play one copy of Stardust Worm. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you control a level 8 or higher Dragon Synchro monster, you can special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. You contribute this card, special summon up to 2 level 1 light dragon monsters from your hand and or graveyard, except Stardust Worm, but their effects cannot be activated. You can only use each effect of Stardust Worm once per turn. We then play, these are all the new support cards. We play one copy of the Anchorbolt Hedgehog. If you control Junk Warrior or a monster that mentions it except Anchorbolt Hedgehog, and this card is in your graveyard, quick effect, you can special summon this card in defense position. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except Synchro monsters. You can only use this effect of Anchorbolt Hedgehog once per turn. We play one copy of the Crossroads Sonic Chick. If a Tuners is sent to your graveyard, even during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your graveyard if it was there when the monster was sent, or hand even if not. But banish it when it leaves the field. Then, if Junk Warrior or a monster that mentions it, except this card, is on the field, you can change all monsters your opponent controls with 1900 or less or more attack to defense. Also, for the rest of this turn, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except for Synchro monsters. You can only use this effect of Crossroads Chick once per turn. And then the last of the monsters we play are 3 copies of Full Speed Warrior. This is probably the main one that everyone was excited for when this support was announced. Monsters you control that mention Junk Warrior or are a synchro monster with Warrior in their original names gain 900 attack during your battle phase, only if this card is normal summoned or special summoned. You can add 1 Junk Synchron or 1 spell trap that mentions Junk Warrior from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Full Speed Warrior once per turn. So it's a good searcher for your Junk Synchron or any of your Junk Warrior cards. But it also gives your Synchro monsters that are warriors or that have Warrior in their name the additional 900 attack boost as well. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. It helps you out and it helps you get a search off. Now onto the spells. We don't run any traps in this deck. There were a couple I considered, but I'm like, spells are a little more consistent than the traps are, so I just decided to run the spells. We're playing the one main obvious card, which is 3 copies of Tuning. Add 1 Synchron Tuner from your deck to your hand, then send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. So this is just a search for any of your Synchrons. We then play 3 copies of the new Synchro Fellowship. Add 2 monsters from your deck to your hand. 1 Junk Synchron and 1 monster that mentions Junk Warrior or Stardust Dragon. Then discard 1 card. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 Synchro monster you control, reduce its level by 1. Then you can normal summon 1 Synchron monster during your main phase this turn in addition to your normal summon or set. You can only gain this effect once per turn. You can only activate 1 Synchro Fellowship per turn. So this is another good starter card for you. It searches things out. We then play 3 copies of Synchro Overtake. Reveal 1 Synchro monster in your extra deck. choose one of the synchro materials mentioned on it and add it to your hand, or special summon that monster from your deck or graveyard. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn, or the rest of the turn you activate this card, except synchro monsters. So once again, your entire extra deck is synchro monsters, so you don't have to worry about that. A couple of the fun little more anime type cards. I have one Synchro Blast Wave. Activate only when you control a face-up synchro monster. Destroy one monster your opponent controls. Added it in because of the Junk Warrior. I have also always liked the art of this card, so I added it in. We have one Synchro Chase. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this card's activation, or the effect activations of your synchro monsters with Warrior, Synchron, or Stardust in their original name. If you synchro summon a Warrior, Synchron, or Stardust synchro monster, you can target one monster in your graveyard used as material, special summon it in defense position. You can only use this effect of Synchro Chase once per turn. So just more extension into your thing, plus it is a protection to the effects of your synchro monsters. So it's just a fun tech I added in. And then I added Scrap Fist. Target one Junk Warrior you control. If it battles an opponent's monster this turn while you control it, apply these effects. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects until the end phase of the damage step. If it attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. Double any battle damage your opponent takes. It cannot be destroyed by battle. Destroy the opponent's monster that battled it at the end of the damage step. So it doesn't say use one of these effects, it just says apply these effects. So I'm pretty sure if I'm reading this right, I'm not a judge, you get to use all of those effects. So it's kind of just a secret thing that no one really expects that you can throw in and still manage to hit for big damage. Sorry, long night last night. And then play one copy of Synchro Dilemma. You can activate one of the following effects. Send one Synchron monster from your hand or face-up field to the graveyard. Special summon one monster from your hand. Or the other one is target one other card you control, destroy it, and if you do, special summon one Synchron monster with a different name from the hand or graveyard. You can only use this effect of Synchro Dilemma once per turn. So it just kind of allows you to shuffle around some monsters in case you need a specific one. We then play one copy of the field spell, Synchro World. Each time a monster is synchro summoned, place 2 signal counters on this card. If this card in its owner's control is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can special summon one Crimson Dragon from your extra deck. You can remove 4, 7, or 10 signal counters from the field. Apply the appropriate effects. If you remove 4, increase or decrease the level of one face-up monster you control by 1. 7, special summon one tuner from your graveyard. Special summon it one tuner from your graveyard. Or 10, special summon one synchro monster from your graveyard. So just an additional ability to summon more monsters off of it. You then have Synchro Rumble. One copy. Target one tuner or one level 7 or 8 Dragon Synchro monster in your graveyard. Special summon in defense position. Also, for the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon from the extra deck except synchro monsters. If a level 7 or 8 Dragon Synchro monster or Crimson Dragon you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. You can only activate one Synchro Rumble per turn. Sorry about the taps, my dog keeps walking around underneath the table, so I apologize. Next, we play one copy of Arriving Light. When this card is activated, place one level 1 dragon monster from your hand or deck on top of the deck. Neither player can return Stardust Dragon or Synchro monsters that list Stardust Dragon in its text from the field to the extra deck. If a Synchro monster / monsters is special summoned, except during the damage step, you can apply one of these effects, but you cannot apply the same effect of Arriving Light again this turn. Draw one card, or special summon one tuner from your hand. So you can use both effects if you summon multiple Synchro monsters on the field, but you can only use one each turn. So if you use the first one, you'll have to use the second one on your second monster. And then these are a couple more options for you. We have 2 copies of On Your Mark, Get Set, Duel. When this card is activated, if you control no other cards, you can add one Synchron monster from your deck to your hand once per turn. During your standby phase, place one signal counter on this card. You can remove up to 2 signal counters from your field and send this card to the graveyard. Draw 2 cards, then send one from your hand to the graveyard. You can only activate one On Your Mark, Get Set, Duel per turn. So this is just more draw power to help get you into cards you need. And then we just play 2 staples of Reinforcements of the Army, because a lot of you have Full Speed Warrior, which is probably your go-to for your warrior monster, but there are other warrior monsters in the deck. And then we just play the 1 copy of Call by the Grave. Target 1 monster in your opponent's graveyard, banish it, and if you do, until the end of this next turn, its effects are negated, as well as the activated effects on the field of monsters with the same original name. So just another negation. So that's it for the main deck. We'll start with the extra deck. I play 1 copy of the OG Junk Warrior. When this card is Synchro summoned, it gains attack equal to the total attack of all level 2 and lower monsters on the field. So I threw this in there. You don't per se need the original Junk Warrior, I believe, but I play it anyways just because I enjoy the nostalgia effect of him. I then play 1 Junk Warrior Extreme. If this card is Synchro summoned, you can special summon as many level 2 or lower monsters as possible from your graveyard, but neither player can activate those monsters. Activate those monsters' effects, this turn. Also, you can only special summon 1 more time this turn. So this one's kind of a limit, like a limitation, but if you use this as the last summon, you're fine. You just don't want to summon him first, because then it limits your turn to only 1 more summon. So I would highly recommend doing this towards the end of your turn, not towards the beginning of your turn. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can banish this card, special summon 1 Junk Synchro monster from your extra deck. This is treated as a Synchro summon. You can only use each effect of Junk Warrior Extreme once per turn. We then play 1 copy of Junk Speeder. If this card is special summon, or Synchro summon, you can special summon as many Synchron tuners as possible with different levels from your deck in defense position. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except Synchro monsters the turn you activate this effect. When an attack is declared involving this card that was Synchro summoned this turn and another monster, you can make this card's attack become double its original attack until the end of the turn. You can only use each effect of Junk Speeder once per turn. We then play 1 copy of Junk Berserker. You can remove from play 1 junk monster from your graveyard to select 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. That monster loses attack equal to the removed monster's attack. If this card attacks a defense position monster destroy that monster at the start of the damage step without damage calculation. So this is just a good way to target removal any monster that's in defense mode that is just hard to get out. So if you just attack anything in defense mode that you can't swing through, you don't apply the damage calculation, it just sends it to the graveyard. We then play one copy of Junk Archer. I remember this card used to be one of my favorites from the anime whenever he would play it. Once per turn, you can target one monster your opponent controls, banish it. The banished monster returns to the opponent's field during the end phase of this turn. So once again, just get something out of the way so you can swing at him for more damage. And then of course that problematic card comes back at the end of the turn, but you also don't have to worry about it until then. We then play one copy of Junk Gardener. Once per turn, you can select one monster your opponent controls and change its battle position. This effect can be activated during either player's turn. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can select one monster on the field and change its battle position. We then play one copy of the new Scrap Warrior. The monsters you control that mention Junk Warrior or synchro monsters with Warrior in their original name cannot have their activated effects negated except Scrap Warrior. If this card is synchro summoned, you can take one Junk Synchron or one card that mentions Junk Warrior from your deck and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. You can use this effect of Scrap Warrior once per turn. And then for our final Junk card, I kind of got them out of order there, we have one copy of Junk Destroyer. When this card is synchro summoned, you can select select and destroy cards on the field up to the number of non-tuner monsters used as synchro material for this card. So once again, just more destruction capabilities from another monster in the field. We then play that one copy of Nitro Warrior. This was another one of his main boss monsters he used. It was always fun to watch. Once during each of your turns, if you activated a spell, this card gains 1000 attack during its next attack, for damage calculation only. Once per turn, if this attacking card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can change one face-up defense position monster your opponent controls to attack position and attack it with this card. So it's just another way, if you have your opponent on the defensive, to swing at him, deal damage, and then you can change his monster, swing at him again with him, and deal even more. And then play one copy of Signal Warrior. Once per turn, during the standby phase, place one signal counter on each face-up card on in the field zone. So this works with your Synchro World card. Also, place one on this card. This card with a signal counter cannot be destroyed by battle or your opponent's card effect once per turn. Sorry, I had to sneeze there. Once per turn, you can remove 4, 7, or 10. No sneeze. Or 10 counters from anywhere on the field. So this card or this Synchro World. Apply this effect depending on the number removed. 4, inflict 800 damage to your opponent. 7, draw one card. 10, destroy one card on the field. So it's a good way to use and be able to decide what you want to use it on. Personally, I would use it for the draw power to extend your plays, but if you're already set up and you need just to destroy it so you can swing for game, you can use the counters to destroy them and swing for game. Next, we play one copy of Satellite Warrior. If this card is synchro summoned, you can target your card or target cards your opponent controls up to the number of synchro monsters in your graveyard. Destroy them, and if you do, this card gains 1000 attack for each card destroyed. If this synchro summon card is destroyed, you can special summon up to 3 level 8 or lower Warrior, Synchron, and or Stardust Synchro monsters with different names from the graveyard. You can only use each effect of Satellite Warrior once per turn. So this is kind of one of your big boss monsters here, because he can get pretty big. Plus, if it's later in the game and you drop him, you can bring back multiple of your monsters when he's destroyed. So just another good thing to keep in mind. You can get another board if they decide to clear this board. Next, we play one copy of Colossal Fighter. This card gains 100 attack for each warrior monster in the graveyards. So keep in mind, it says graveyards here with an S, so that means both your opponent's graveyard and your graveyard. So if they're playing anything with warriors, you get those attack points as well. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can target one warrior monster in either graveyard and special summon that target. So once again, like it says, either graveyard. If they're playing a deck with warriors in it, you can grab a card out of their graveyard and special summon it when he's destroyed. We then play one copy of Accel Synchron. Once per turn, you can send one Synchron monster from your deck to the graveyard, then activate one of these effects. Increase this card's level by the level of the monster sent, or you can reduce this card's level by the level of the monster sent. During your opponent's main phase, you can quick effect immediately after this resolves, Synchro Summon using this card you control. You can only Synchro Summon Accel Synchron once per turn. And then for the last two cards, we play one copy of Stardust Dragon. During either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated that would destroy a card on the field, you can tribute this card, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. During the end phase, if this card was activated this turn and was not negated, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. So it's just negation effect. Yes, he goes to the graveyard until the end of the turn, but he comes back at the end. And then the last card we play is Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. Sorry, me and the wife have the windows open, and I am not liking the allergy from the weather changing. Anyways, Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. Once per turn, when another monster's effect is activated, quick effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that monster. And if you do, this card gains attack equal to the destroyed monster's original attack until the end of this turn. If this card battles an opponent's level 5 or higher monster during damage calculation, this card gains attack equal to the current attack of the opponent's monster it is battling during that damage calculation only. So this is just another way, if they have a massive attack point monster, swing into him, he gains the attack, so they're going to be taking 3,000 anyways because he gains the same attack as they have. So really it's going to just end up being a direct 3,000 damage during battle calculation. But that is the end of the junk profile. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, I haven't had much time to test this deck since life has just gotten busy since I started this channel. But I hope you like it. Hope you enjoy having fun with it. If you want, leave a like and subscribe. It really helps me out as a growing channel. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.